A Mr. Man book. Nice. Mr. Tickle. It was late at night, and everybody was asleep. Everybody, that is, except for Mr. Tickle. He was just not sleepy. He had tried counting sheep, but that was no good. I know, he thought. I'll try tickling sheep. 1 tickle, he counted. 2 tickles. 3 tickles. 4 tickles. Mr. Tickle fell asleep, dreaming of happy things. And then the most incredible thing happened. Mr. Tickle got out of bed, snored, walked down the stairs, and snored again. And then he walked out of the door, still snoring. Mr. Tickle was sleepwalking. Mr. Tickle passed by a sheep who was asleep in the field. He stopped and reached out one of his extraordinary long arms. Mr. Tickle's extraordinary long arm went right up to the sheep, paused, and then tickled. Bah! Ha! Bah! Ha! Went the sheep. Mr. Tickle was sleep tickling. Mr. Tickle continued his way until he came to a house. He stopped, gave a snore, and then reached out one of his extraordinary long arms. Up and up it went, higher and higher. His long arm crept up behind a bird asleep on the roof, and then he tickled. Twitter, 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 twitter. Titter, twitter, titter, titter, twitter, titter, giggled the bird. All that night, Mr. Tickle sleep tickled. He tickled here. He tickled there. He tickled everywhere. Snoring and tickling and tickling and snoring all night long. Snoring and tickling and snoring and tickling all night long. You should have seen it. There was pandemonium. And just as the sun was about to rise, Mr. Tickle headed home. Mr. Tickle walked back to his bed and laid down. The sun rose, and then Mr. Tickle woke up. He sat up in bed, stretched his extraordinary long arms, and yawned an enormous yawn. Ah, yawned Mr. Tickle, I've just had the most splendid dream. The end. Mr. Tickle.